our defense, I think that's an area that when I talked a little bit earlier about defensively, I don't just pin that on our defense. To me, that's more of a team aspect, but sure, our defense shares in that. An area of getting out of our end a little bit easier, moving pucks is an area that we look at, but you're consistently and constantly looking at ways to improve your team. And like I said, it's a motherhood statement, but we'll continue to look at that at all positions.
Pressure inside the Maple Leafs organization did not build slowly. It hit all at once. A key defenseman went down again. The blue line weakened overnight. Cameras turned toward the general manager. Brad Treliving finally spoke, but his words did not calm the situation. Instead, frustration grew louder, attention sharpened, and the reaction around the team began to spiral in unexpected ways. The situation intensified after Toronto confirmed that defenseman Chris Tanev would miss significant time with a groin injury. The update came shortly after Tanev had returned from an earlier absence. According to Reuters, the 36-year-old defenseman has 2 assists in 11 games this season. His role on the blue line was defensive, physical, and situational. Losing him again removed one of the few experienced stabilizers available to the coaching staff. The injury placed immediate focus on roster depth. Tanev was relied upon for defensive zone minutes and penalty killing assignments. Without him, the Leafs were forced to adjust pairings and ice time. The team did not announce a timeline for his return. That lack of clarity left uncertainty around how long the defense would operate without a veteran present. As the injury news spread, Brad Treliving addressed reporters. His comments were carried by outlets including Yahoo Sports and NHL.com. Treliving stated that the team's current performance level was not acceptable. He did not isolate responsibility to one area. He spoke about shared accountability across the organization. There are a lot of nights I don't question the effort, but there's been some inconsistencies there, Treliving said. The job of all of us is to maximize the people you've got and get them to play at the highest level. The remarks came as frustration around the team continued to rise. Defensive breakdowns had already drawn attention earlier in the season. Tanev's absence amplified those concerns. Analysts pointed to limited depth when injuries occur, a topic that gained traction following the Reuters report. Treliving also addressed speculation around roster changes. He stated that trades alone would not solve the team's problem. He emphasized execution, consistency, and internal improvement as immediate priorities. Those comments landed during a period of uneven results. Losses and defensive lapses placed added pressure on the front office. Fans and media closely examined how the roster was built and how much flexibility remained. The injury to Tanev reduced margin for error and increased reliance on less experienced options. Treliving did not announce a trade. He did not outline future moves. Instead, he reinforced belief in the current group and stressed responsibility across players, coaches, and management. The statements were calm, direct, and deliberate, but they did not quiet the situation. Instead, attention stayed fixed on what came next, and the pressure around the Maple Leafs front office continued to grow. As attention remained on the roster, Brad Treliving also addressed the coaching situation. His comments followed earlier changes behind the bench, including the dismissal of assistant coach Mark Savard. Speaking to City News Toronto, Treliving confirmed the decision came from management and was intended to change the dynamic rather than assign blame. "It falls on all of us," he said. "The players have a responsibility. It falls back on all of us." That statement reinforced the message he had repeated throughout the week. Responsibility was shared. No single move or individual was singled out as the cause of the struggle. The approach reflected how the organization was framing the moment, even as outside scrutiny increased. Treliving also addressed head coach Craig Berube directly. Reports from NHL.com quoted him expressing full support for the head coach. "I fully believe in Craig and the messaging," Treliving said. Craig didn't become a bad coach overnight. He added that a coaching change by itself would not resolve the team's issues. The comment drew attention because it firmly closed the door on speculation about immediate changes behind the bench. At the same time, the standings added pressure. Inconsistent results kept the Leafs from creating separation in their division. Each game without Tanev carried added weight. Defensive breakdowns were magnified. Goaltending faced heavier workloads. The margin for error continued to narrow. Despite that environment, Treliving did not shift his message. He reaffirmed affirmed belief in the roster and coaching staff. He acknowledged inconsistency. He rejected the idea that one move could fix everything. The combination of injury news and public comments kept focus on the front office rather than drifting elsewhere. Media coverage reflected that focus. Reports continued to cite Tanev's injury, the lack of a return timeline, and Treliving's insistence on internal accountability. The facts did not change, but the pressure surrounding them remained. As days passed, the questions did not disappear. The defense remained shorthanded. The roster stayed intact. The general manager had spoken clearly, and the situation around the Maple Leafs stayed unresolved, with attention fixed on how long this approach could hold.
Well, he's coming on a trip, so that's a good sign, but lower body right now. We'll see how he is tomorrow.
The change came without warning. It happened just before puck drop. One of Toronto's top scorers was suddenly not on the ice. The Maple Leafs had already prepared their lines. Then everything shifted. William Nylander was scratched late with a lower body injury. Within minutes, Craig Berube was forced to rebuild the lineup, and the ripple effects started immediately. The Toronto Maple Leafs made a late lineup change after forward William Nylander was ruled out with a lower body injury. The decision came shortly before puck drop. Nylander was initially expected to play. The team later confirmed that he was scratched following a final evaluation. The injury was classified as day-to-day, with no additional medical details released. Head coach Craig Berube addressed the situation after the lineup adjustment. He confirmed the status and timing of the decision. "He's day-to-day," Berube said. The statement offered no timetable for Nylander's return. The team did not indicate when the injury occurred or whether it happened during a previous game or practice. The late scratch forced immediate changes. Toronto had already prepared its lines before the decision. Once Nylander was ruled out, the coaching staff had limited time to reorganize the forward group. Players originally assigned to depth roles were moved into larger responsibility. Line combinations were altered minutes before the opening face-off. Late scratches are uncommon in the NHL unless a player is deemed unfit during final checks. Nylander had taken part in earlier preparations before being removed from the lineup. Because the decision came so close to game time, the Maple Leafs did not make a roster recall. Instead, they adjusted internally, reshaping the lineup already dressed for the game. Nylander's absence carried weight. He is a regular top six forward and a consistent contributor to Toronto's offense. He also plays a key role on the power play. With him unavailable, the coaching staff modified special teams unit. Positions were reassigned. Ice time projections changed across multiple lines. Berube kept his public comments brief. He did not describe the severity of the injury. He did not confirm how many games Nylander could miss. The day-to-day label allows flexibility, but it also creates uncertainty for upcoming games. Each day requires a new evaluation, and lineup planning remains unsettled until clearance is given. The sudden change disrupted established chemistry. Nylander has spent significant time with Toronto's primary scoring forwards. Removing him required new combinations without extended practice time. Adjustments were made in real time, under game conditions, as players adapted to new roles with little notice. The situation placed immediate focus on how the Maple Leafs would respond without one of their top offensive pieces, and how long this unexpected shakeup would last. Ice time distribution shifted quickly. Forwards moved into expanded roles. Others saw reduced minutes. The coaching staff monitored performance closely as new combinations were tested under live conditions. These changes affected matchups and altered how Toronto approached offensive zone entries. Berube did not frame the decision as precautionary or long-term. His comments remained limited to the injury designation. "We'll see how he responds," he said. No further clarification was provided. The lack of detail left the situation open-ended, keeping attention on the team's next update. Toronto continues to manage player health closely during a compressed schedule. The absence of a clear return date for Nylander complicates planning. Practice lines may change from day to day. Game day decisions remain flexible until medical clearance is confirmed. Nylander's role extends beyond scoring. He is a frequent puck carrier and a regular option during transition play. Removing him from the lineup affects zone exits and controlled entries. These elements are typically assigned to experienced forwards, increasing the burden on remaining players. The Maple Leafs did not indicate whether Nylander would travel with the team if games continued on the road. That detail often signals progress, but no confirmation was provided. The team maintained its standard injury protocol, releasing only the designation and leaving further updates to future availability reports. Berub's approach reflected standard league practice. Late scratches are handled quickly. Lines are redrawn. Players are informed. Once the puck drops, changes are locked in. The process leaves little room for gradual adjustment, placing emphasis on readiness and adaptability. As long as Nylander remains sidelined, Toronto's lineup remains fluid. Each game requires fresh evaluation. Roles may continue to shift. Special teams may rotate personnel. These adjustments persist until the forward is cleared to return. The late lineup change altered more than one game. It introduced uncertainty into upcoming matchups and placed focus on how Toronto manages depth during sudden absences. The impact of the decision continues to unfold with each practice and lineup report, keeping attention fixed on when stability will return.
What was the highlight of your NHL All-Star weekend in Toronto?
I'm getting to enjoy this with the people that kind of got me to where I am today. Enjoying this just whole experience with them, and obviously having it in the hotel is pretty special. And winning.
And what would you want to say to the fans in Toronto?
Again, thank you for all the support throughout the year and just this weekend. It was just amazing to see the support that we had for this weekend. Just really all the fan bases. It's a lot of love to us. I really appreciate it.
Mitch Marner posted a short Christmas message on December 25th during the NHL holiday break. Maple Leafs fans noticed immediately. The message came during the NHL break. The team was off the ice. The standings were clear. No team was named. Still, coverage pointed back to Toronto within hours of the post. In the message, he shared a simple holiday wish. He said he wished for a long playoff run. The statement appeared during the NHL's Christmas break, when no regular games are played. At the time, Marner was not a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was playing for the Vegas Golden Knights. Marner spent many seasons with the Maple Leafs before leaving the team. He joined Vegas during the 2025 offseason. His departure ended a long period in Toronto, where he was one of the team's top scorers. During his years with the Leafs, Marner recorded multiple 90-plus point seasons. He was a regular playoff participant with the team. The Maple Leafs, however, struggled to move deep into the playoffs during those years. They reached the postseason several times but did not advance far. That history is well known and often discussed in hockey coverage. When Marner's Christmas message became public, several hockey news outlets reported that many readers viewed it as directed toward Toronto. The message did not mention the Maple Leafs by name. It did not reference past teammates. It did not describe events in Toronto. Still, its timing drew attention. At the Christmas break, the Maple Leafs were near the bottom of the Eastern Conference standing. Team performance reports showed issues in multiple areas. Their goals against numbers were high. Their 5-on-5 play ranked low in league tracking. Their power play had struggled through large parts of the season. Reports published before Christmas described the Leafs' power play as underperforming. After a loss to the Washington Capitals earlier in December, head coach Craig Berube addressed the issue publicly. He said the power play was not good. He also spoke about effort levels in games. The team entered the holiday break with pressure already present. Analysts had discussed possible roster changes. Media reports noted that uncomfortable conversations could take place if results did not improve. These reports were released days before Marner's message. As Marner's Christmas wish circulated online, fan reactions appeared quickly. Hockey blogs and fan pages published responses within hours. Many posts described strong reactions from Leafs supporters. Comments appeared across social platforms. Some fans expressed frustration. Others referenced past playoff seasons. Several fan pages tracked the speed of the reaction. According to reports, Marner's message gained more attention than many holiday posts from NHL players. Screenshots of the statement were shared widely. Discussion threads grew throughout December 25th and December 26th. Because the message was short and general, there was no official clarification. Marner did not add follow-up comments. He did not explain what team he meant. He did not issue another statement after the reaction began. Sports news outlets described the situation as another moment linking Marner's past with Toronto's present. Articles referenced his playoff history with the Leafs. They also referenced the team's current standings. Some reports focused on fan emotion. Others focused on timing. Christmas break is one of the few pauses in the NHL season. Media coverage continues, even when games stop. Player comments often receive more attention during this period. The Maple Leafs season has included brief winning stretches. They also experienced long periods of inconsistency. Before the break, the team had welcomed some players back back from injury. They also recorded a win shortly before Christmas. Even with that win, standings data showed the Leafs near the bottom of the conference. Analysts noted that improvement was needed in both offense and defense. The team's expected goals numbers remained below league average. As discussion continued, some outlets highlighted that Marner's message did not break any rules. Players often share holiday wishes. The reaction came from interpretation rather than direct accusation. The message itself stayed unchanged. The words remained the same. The context around it grew. By December 26th, coverage expanded. Articles connected Marner's comment to Toronto's season story. Fan reaction pieces were reposted across aggregator sites. Social media continued to circulate screenshots. At the same time, league schedules showed the Leafs preparing to return to play in early January. The break would end soon. New games would provide updated results. Before the break, media reports stated that the Maple Leafs management remained focused on evaluation. Performance trends would guide future decisions. Those reports did not mention Marner direct. Still, his Christmas message became part of the conversation. It arrived at a moment when the team faced pressure. It arrived while fans were watching closely. It arrived during a pause when news spreads faster. As the NHL season moves forward, updated standings and statistics will replace holiday reaction. But for one day after Christmas, a short message from a former star shifted attention back to Toronto and its ongoing season story.
How hot is the seat on the coach Craig Berube in your estimation?
I mean, it's quite hot. I don't know if you've seen the news. It's just breaking now, but his assistant coach, Mark Savard, has been fired by the team. You know, obviously, under Savard's watch is the power play, and that's been, I'd say, one of the main issues that's led to where the Leafs record is right now. And, obviously, management is in a position where they don't want to fire Craig Berube.
Toronto Maple Leafs made a move that no one inside the locker room could ignore. One coach was removed. Responsibility shifted fast. Numbers exposed a collapse that could not be defended. A power play fell to the bottom of the league, and patience ended quietly but firmly. This decision sent a message, and its real impact had only just begun to unfold. The Toronto Maple Leafs confirmed they have fired assistant coach Mark Savard during the middle of the regular season. The announcement followed a stretch of poor results and a sharp decline in special teams performance. Savard had been responsible for the team's power play, which ranked last in the National Hockey League at the time of the decision. Savard joined the Maple Leafs coaching staff in June 2024. He was hired as part of head coach Craig Berube's staff after Berube took over the team earlier that offseason. The hiring reunited Savard with Berube, as the two had previously worked together with the St. Louis Blues during the 2019-20 season. At the time, Savard was dismissed. The team was positioned near the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings and sat last in the Atlantic Division. Over their previous 6 games, Toronto posted a 1-4-1 record, adding to mounting pressure around the club's performance. The power play played a central role in the coaching change. Toronto's unit was converting at a rate of 13.3%, the lowest mark in the league. During the month of December, the team scored just 2 power play goals across 27 opportunities. In one recent stretch, the Leafs went scoreless on 10 consecutive power play chances during a road trip. This season's numbers represented a sharp drop from the previous year. During the 2024 to 2025 season, the Maple Leafs power play finished at 24.8%, ranking 9th in the NHL. That unit featured many of the same core players now struggling to produce with the man advantage. The decision came shortly after a 5-1 loss to the Dallas Stars. In that game, Toronto again failed to generate offense on special teams. Days earlier, the Washington Capitals shut out the Maple Leafs 4-0, ending Toronto's streak of 71 consecutive games without being shut out. In that matchup, the Leafs went 0 for 5 on the power play. Following Savard's dismissal, the Maple Leafs did not announce an external replacement. Instead, the organization stated that assistant coaches Derek Lalonde and Mike Van Ryn would absorb the power play responsibilities moving forward. The team indicated no immediate plans to expand the coaching staff. Savard's departure marked the first coaching change of the season for Toronto. The move came just before the club's final game ahead of the holiday break, with the team scheduled to face the Pittsburgh Penguins next. Tension now shifted toward how the internal changes would impact results on the ice and whether further decisions would follow. Mark Savard's firing closed a short but closely watched chapter in his coaching career. Before joining Toronto, Savard had stepped away from coaching in September 2020 to focus on family matters. His return with the Maple Leafs marked his first NHL coaching role since that departure. The organization assigned him responsibility for offensive structure and power play execution, areas that later became central to the decision to remove him. The team's struggles were not